ask a lot of people ask me this question: what is the way to happiness? And they say happiness is in being happy, not doing something that makes you happy. We have misunderstood the meaning of happiness. We are chasing happiness. We think happiness is in doing. We have become human doings instead of being human beings. And therefore, I guide people that if you want to be happy, learn the art of being happy. Being happy is being in this moment. The past moment is gone. Tomorrow is not yet born. So one of the beautiful benefits of enlightenment, which is our subject, one of the most beautiful benefits of enlightenment is eternal happiness, not momentary happiness, not happiness that comes from pleasures. Everybody enjoys pleasure, but how can we reach that state of eternal peace, everlasting bliss? That is the goal. Our goal is to reach that state of ananda. And that is the question that I was after. And when I went in quest, when my guru, my master, he told me there is a way, I went in search and found that way. So let me answer questions. Every day there's some theme I will touch. And it's up to you to pick a question on that theme or a question that you have prepared. First question.
Raghavendra.
Dear Raghavendra, welcome, and your question, please.
Shivoham, sir.
Shivoham.
Sir, does the food we eat have an influence on the path of enlightenment? Does eating non-veg can be considered as bad karma, sir? These are the two questions I have.
There are two different questions. First question, does the food we eat have an influence on our enlightenment? The food we eat doesn't have a direct influence. Does not have a direct influence. But the food is considered to be sattvic or pure, rajasic or passionate, tamasic or lazy. Everything in the scripture is divided into three. If the food is a food that makes you uneasy, suppose I'm asking you, Raghavendra, you're eating a lot of chilies. I'm asking you a practical example. You eat a lot of chili. Can you think of spirituality? When your whole body is burning with fire, your stomach is burning, you don't have a proper bowel system, your chest has got indigestion. How can you think of enlightenment? Suppose you eat a biryani with a lot of ghee, a lot of oil, and you can't even sit awake for 5 minutes, you fall asleep. How can you be enlightened? Therefore, the wise people have advised us to have the right kind of food. There are two types of food, my dear friends. One food is called nourishing food. The second food is called toxic food. I divided into two foods, not into three. Either a food nourishes you. Why do I have a cup of coffee before I start? I know it may not be good in medical terms, but it gives that energy to the system to give you good answers. I see Bridget also is having coffee. So that way, the point is that toxic food is bad. Toxic food puts you down. Second question, Raghavendra, does it affect our karma? According to me, it does. I used to eat non-vegetarian food. I used to be a reason for the killing of many animals. And I believe that we have no business to take a life. I respect those people who have a habit and they can't give up non-vegetarian food. I am not saying that that's a sin because they have grown up with it. But if those who realize that eating of non-vegetarian food is bad, once you realize it, then you should not eat. If you have not realized it, suppose you've grown up in a house where every day you eat mutton. You've grown up in a house where your mother and father are eating chicken and fish. Then I don't think it's a karma because you've grown up with it. But the day you realize, the day you realize that you're killing an animal and you still eat, that becomes a karma. So it's all these spiritual things have got many, I'm very fond of meat. For all of you who don't know it, every day I eat meat. You know that every day in my life, practically I eat meat, but it is vegetarian meat. I eat Beyond Meat burgers. It is a beef burger made out of vegetable protein. I eat vegetarian, lot of vegetarian fish, vegetarian prawns, vegetarian ham. It's not meat. Because I was used to eating meat for 25 years. I cannot kill an animal because I love animals. So that is the answer, Raghavendra. Next, please.
Surinder, go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raghavendra. Surinder, go ahead.
Shivam, sir.
Shivam, Surinder.
My question is the materialistic life is contradictory to spiritual life? As in the materialistic life, whatever we feel by senses or experience by spirit, we think that is real. But in the spiritual lifestyle, we're telling everything is mithya. The jagat is mithya. The sharir is mithya. These lives are contradictory to each other.
Okay, QUE. You can make out who's creating the noise you want. So, Surinder, material life. I'm sorry, I missed you because there was noise coming on the screen.
Repeat my question. Is
Yes,
the
please.
materialistic life and the spiritual life, they are both are contradicting to each other? Contradictory to each other.
See, let me tell you, I don't think they're contradicting in a way, because for a human being, suppose you and me, material life and spiritual life is like a coconut, which has got a soft fruit inside and a hard nut outside. Now, both are part of the coconut. The coconut, अंदर नारियल में अंदर जो है वो फ्रूट है, लेकिन जब तक बाहर का नट नहीं तोड़ेंगे तो अंदर नहीं जा सकते हैं. What I'm trying to tell you is, without the material, Surinder, how can we attain the spiritual? So in that way, we need the material life to be able to go on the spiritual path. It is just like the spiritual life is a boat. The material life is the river. So what should the boat do, Surinder? The boat should go on top of the river and reach the destination. You agree with me?
Yes, sir.
But suppose the boat sinks in the river, then what happens? Is it good or bad? So the meaning I'm telling you is, so the one who is online asking the question, you can be unmuted. Others should be muted because others' noise comes on the main thing, right? Only the person asking question can remain unmuted. So Surinder, what we have learned in the scripture, we should be like a boat that is going on the river of samsara. We should be a spiritual being that is floating in the material world. We cannot be out of the material world. So if I tell you they are opposite, then you will start hating this material world. You don't have to hate the material world. आपके समझने के लिए मैं आपको कहता हूं, कमल का फूल गंदगी में ही खिलता है ना, आगे नहीं. कमल का फूल सुंदर है, झील गंदा है, मटेरियल वर्ल्ड झील है, हम कमल का फूल है. Are you getting my point? So we cannot say it is opposite, but the point is definitely, if we go towards the material world, then we are going away from the spiritual world. If we go towards the spiritual world, we will be going away from the material world. So I hope, Surinder, I have answered your question. Okay, Surinder. Krishna Sharma, please.
Shivam, sir. Sir, one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whether the desires are being created in the then and there in the mind, or being pulled out from subconscious mind due to influence of environment?
Both. And many more reasons. See, Krishna Sharma,
Yes, sir.
what you said just now, let's analyze.
Yes.
Are the desires, what is the first point? Are the desires being created by
Are
the?
being created in the mind then and there.
Yes. Point one answer is yes. Point two, are they being created by the subconscious mind due to
Pulling
some-
out from the subconscious mind.
Yes. That also yes. And are they being created out of circumstances around you? Yes. Are they being created out of your own habits? Yes. Are they being created out of your past karmas? Yes. So Krishna Sharma, the point is
Yes, sir.
not where are the desires being created from. The point is just like being like a man with a gun. You saw this. Sometimes they have a war. When the enemy is shooting missiles, they shoot it down. Tack, 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 they shoot it down. So Krishna Sharma, whenever the desire comes, we should be like a tortoise. You know a tortoise? A tortoise, it's going out like this. Its head is out. If it sees enemy, what it does? If the enemy comes, what it does?
Immediately it will draw back, draw
Ah,
inside,
in the-
enter the head.
In the spiritual terms, this is called uparati. Uparati is the ability to withdraw.
Okay.
And samadama. Samadama is the control of the mind and control of the senses. So the answer I will give you, first point is this, Krishna Sharma, any desire is bad.
Yes.
Because two things. Let me tell you. First of all, what does the desire do? It creates passion.
Correct.
It creates excitement, which may assume many people say, I'm very happy. No, no, no. Ultimately, it creates stress.
Yes.
First point. Second point, all desires will ultimately lead to disappointment.
Yes.
Maybe some desire will give you happiness, but some desire will give you happiness, but another desire will lead to disappointment. All desires will not be fulfilled in this world. Therefore, the entire Buddha, he said the whole concept of Buddhism is based on the concept of dukkha, and dukkha that comes from Ichcha, Krishna. So we have to be very careful about this. And I hope I answered your primary question
Yes.
in the beginning itself, but I tried to elaborate a little bit more to help you on the subject of desire. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Ikramul, please. Ikramul.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Ikramul.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Good evening.
as every soul has to taste death,
Every
Then-
soul.
yeah, then who decides when and how will death come? And the next question, is
Yeah,
there
but
any concept
don't
of
mind me
exam?
We'll go one by one because I don't know. I'll give you the chance for the next question. But Ikramul,
Okay, okay, sir.
I want to just put from one perspective clearly.
Yeah,
Every soul does not experience death. You and me, every human being experiences death. The soul is the power inside a person that arrives at birth and departs at death. The soul is
Okay, sir.
immortal. Soul doesn't experience death.
okay, sir.
Yes, when we are in the spiritual path, Ikramul, we have to have clarity in our belief systems. I do understand that every scripture will have a different explanation of it, but we are believing in the truth. We are trying to understand what is the truth. Therefore, every balloon will burst. Every balloon will
Sure.
burst, but the
Sure,
air
sir.
inside the balloon will not burst. The air is only inside the balloon. That was the first answer. Second question.
Sir, my second question is there any concept of examining after death?
Is there any concept of?
Concept of examination of soul after death. That means the
Okay.
concept of heaven and hell.
I will like, but you asked I think the first question I didn't complete fully. No, you said you were asking something whether there was a tail of the first question, or did I answer your first question?
Sir, something like
So your second question is very interesting. We'll come to that, but I think if there's a third part afterwards, you can ask me again. So
okay.
Ikramul, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Ikramul is correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ikramul, sir.
So Ikramul, there is no doubt that there is heaven and hell. You may call it heaven and hell. You may call it Jannat and Jahannam. You may call it Swarga or Narka. it doesn't matter what you call. Okay. But
Yes,
let
sir.
us understand Ikramal, because we have been given an intellect. Correct. If
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, if I give you this and I tell you, please dial one, please dial with this mobile phone, this one phone, can you dial?
No, without locking on, we cannot dial.
I unlock and give it to you, and I give you the keyboard with a SIM card. Then can you dial?
Yes, sir.
But if I give you my empty hand and say, please take the phone and dial, can you dial?
No, we can't,
Why?
because we don't have the phone,
Ah,
the system.
so correct. No, we have to use our intelligence and see with our own eyes. Ikramal, correct.
Yes,
So the point is this: suppose a dead person dies. You agree the person dies?
yes, sir.
When the person dies, either we burn the body or we bury the body. There are two options. Now the point is, when you burn the body or you bury the body, the question is, who goes to heaven or hell? Who goes to Jannat or
The soul.
so that is you are calling it soul, but actually what you mean is the person Akramul. If you are Ikramul, will your body go to heaven or hell, or you understand that the body will be destroyed on earth? You agree or not?
The body will be destroyed on earth itself.
Very good. But you, the person who was alive inside Akramul, that person, that soul, what you're calling that soul,
Yes,
that
sir.
soul will go to heaven or hell is what we believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
So then the question is, where is this heaven and hell? First question.
Yes.
And the second question is, how do we go? Do we go by Indigo, Jet Airways? How do we go? What I'm saying, don't mind me. I'm just trying to explain.
Yes,
So
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
point when we try to analyze how does a person go to heaven or hell? Then Ikramul, then comes the next point. Definitely there is heaven and hell. Why there's heaven and hell? Today, if you do a lot of good work, you should be rewarded. God is kind, right? God knows it.
Yes,
But
sir.
if you do a lot of murder and stealing and all, then you must be punished.
Yes.
How do we go to heaven and hell? We go to heaven and hell when we take rebirth. So the same, what you're saying, the soul of Ikramul goes to heaven or hell when it
Yes,
comes
sir.
back to the earth. So there is heaven and hell. Now,
Yes, sir.
how do we understand this point, Ikramul? One small child is born blind. Small child.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me, Ikramul, what that child did.
They did nothing.
Why God is so cruel or what?
No, God is not cruel. He has.
So what I'm trying to make you understand, we do not have any proof, but we are made to believe that the child may have a new body. The body may be a new body, but how Akramul soul you're saying goes, right? That same Akramul comes back in a new body, either to be born in a palace or to be born in a beggar's house. That is heaven and that is hell. It is there, heaven and hell is there, but we human beings have not interpreted in the right manner. We have interpreted in the wrong manner.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is my explanation coming across well to you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Akrama. Thank you for coming and asking us questions.
Dr. Rishi.
Dr. Rishi, please. Dr. Rishi.
Shivoham sir, Pranam. Sir, I want to ask, Pranam sir, I want to ask that how we can forgive and forget a person's deed for whom we have done great work, but they have replied in a negative sense and they have passed away also. So how we can forgive and forget that person's deed in our brain and our heart?
And they have passed away.
They have passed away 10 years back.
And how can we forgive and forget somebody? Okay, it's very simple. First of all, it's a very interesting question and it has a very deep spiritual meaning. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So how can we forgive, first of all? By forgiving in our heart. Forgiveness does not mean, suppose I have hurt you. Correct?
Sir.
I have, I suppose, let me give you a practical example. Okay. You are going to do your examinations. And when you are going to do your examination inside the examination hall, I robbed your your box of pens and pencils.
Yes, sir.
You went inside the examination hall, there's no pen and pencil.
Yes, sir.
So it's a big, I did a very bad thing for you. So you went inside, you struggled, you requested the teacher, you lost 10, 15 minutes, but finally you got some pen and you started writing your examination with a very bad mood.
Yes,
And
sir.
then somebody told you that I only robbed your pencil box. They saw me taking from your bag. Now that deed is over. But you keep the grudge in your heart. You carry the grudge in your heart. This fellow, one day I will kill him. This fellow is a very bad person. This fellow is a very bad person. So this is affecting you. Forgiving means to forgive means to tell in your heart, my dear friend, you have done this to me, but I forgive you. And you forget it. Now the person has died, you are saying. It's back. The problem is we are carrying the grudge in our heart even today. So what is the further question you want? You want any help on this matter? I've given a case. So can you explain further?
Definitely, sir. If the same case persists, then how we can forget that the person? Suppose he has done such a grave work that we cannot forget.
We
Forgiving,
cannot,
we feel that, okay, we should forgive and forget and move forward.
but understand
But
the
we are
point.
unable to do so.
Yeah, understand the point that when we don't forgive, who are we hurting?
Ourselves first.
When you realize this, then you will throw the memory out of your system. It is
And
a
still-
habit. You have to create a habit to forgive. Understand one important thing. Very often, suppose you have stolen my pen, right? I
Sure.
want to take burning hot coal and throw on your face. Okay.
Okay.
But when I'm taking the burning hot coal in my hand, first I'm burning my own hand, then
Definitely.
I'm throwing on your face.
Yes, sir. True.
Anger is like that. When we realize it, when we realize that the grudge we are carrying is a thorn which is poking us, we will let it go. Now, spiritually, Rishi, spiritually, we are taught that you and me are not two, we are one.
Yes, sir.
Bodies are two, but soul is one. When we get this realization, the right hand never takes revenge against the left hand. The right leg will never kick the left leg. The right
True.
eye will never be unhappy with the left eye because we think we are one body. The moment you and me realize we are one divine soul, automatically we will forgive.
That's very true, sir.
Thank you, Rishi. Thank you for
Thank you,
your
sir.
question.
Thank you, Pranam, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
No.
So, my dear friends, so I'm asking you a question today. So, Sudeep, do you find everybody in this world is living with happiness? Can you answer the question, Sudeep? Do you find everybody in this world is living with happiness? The
No,
answer.
not at all, sir.
So, what do you find?
There are a lot of sorrows, greed, anger, hatred.
Why, Sudeep?
So the reason that you just gave that, I mean, spiritually speaking, yes, because we think that we are different from the others. And that is the reason I will get angry with someone. But the moment I realize that all of us are the same, that hatred goes down. That is spiritually. Practically, how I look at it, if somebody is not spiritually inclined, but he wants a more practical answer, well, I will say that you are greedy or you are angry because you try to control the factors which are beyond your control. Or like in one of the sessions, day before yesterday, somebody had set up a target of 50,000 per month. You said you are currently earning 8,000, just make it 10,000. That's a better way to do it. So
why are people unhappy? You're saying they are angry. They are you give 2-3 examples. They are greedy. They are angry. But don't we realize that people don't understand the meaning of happiness? Everybody wants to be happy, but we think that happiness belongs to a product. Happiness belongs to a place. Happiness belongs to a person. So Sudeep, suppose you are fond of pizza and I give you one pizza. You are the happiest man in the world. Well, pizza, 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 pizza. And I give you, soon as you finish eating, I give the second pizza. You know, oh my God, I can't eat. It's so much cheese. I can't eat second pizza. I said, but I bought for you, Mr. Sudeep Bhargava, because you like pizza. And you all say, okay, thank you. And with great difficulty, you finish it. And as soon as you finish the second pizza, I keep another jumbo pizza on the table and say, "This is your third pizza." You, you say, "Please throw it in the dustbin. I don't want it." Why do we not realize that the same pizza that was giving happiness creates so much unhappiness? It's a simple thing. But we human beings, we don't know the art of happiness. Today's theme of discussion is what people are seeking in the world. People are seeking happiness, but people don't know that happiness doesn't depend on what you have. Happiness depends on how you feel. Some people think success is happiness, but the successful people are miserable. They commit suicide. But the whole world is chasing happiness. Even all of you, what do you tell your children? Don't you tell your children, Sudeep, come first in class, huh? You must अपने माँ बाप का नाम रोशन करना. Huh? It is really sad, right? We are teaching our children to chase success and to create stress and to create and to achieve happiness from achievement, when happiness is not about achievement. Happiness is about contentment and fulfillment. Therefore, today I asked Sudeep about this question because money may buy a bed, but money can't buy sleep. Money can buy you remdesivir and drugs, but it can't buy you health and life. Money can buy you a diamond ring, but it can't buy you love. Money can make you glad, but money can also make you sad. If money was happiness, then the rich should be glad. Turn around and you will find many of them are sad. So my dear friends, today I didn't want to close this session without touching the subject on happiness. We, at least on the Zoom call, all of you, one thing you must learn in the course of this question answer sessions every day is how to be happy. We all must realize that happiness is not outside. Happiness is inside us. But we are searching outside. We are searching for happiness outside. There was a woman who had two earrings, two earrings, diamond earrings. She dropped one. So she was searching for that earring outside the house. So many people went and started looking for the earring. And they all searched, "Madam, what is that earring?" She says it's a diamond. "Okay, is it made in gold or is it made in silver?" "It's made in gold." And they kept on searching, kept on searching, kept on searching. Till one neighbor, all the neighbors were searching for that lady. She was standing outside the house and searching. Suddenly one neighbor came and asked her, "Madam, where did exactly you drop the diamond ring? Do you know?" She said, "Of course I know. I dropped it inside my house." He said, "Then why you are searching outside the house?" She said, "You're a fool, man." She told him, "You don't understand. I'm searching outside the house because inside the house there's darkness. There's no light inside my house. So I'm searching outside." Although she dropped it inside. We are searching for happiness outside when actually happiness is inside. But because the inside is dark, we are searching for happiness in the wrong place. How can we find it? So my dear friends, every day, one thing you must learn in the Zoom call, don't close the call without asking me some question on happiness or unhappiness. Because happiness is a key. Every human being wants to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? Every human being wants to be happy, but we don't know how to be happy. We don't know happiness is in the now. Make a vow to be happy in the now. You cannot be happy yesterday, it's gone. You cannot be happy tomorrow, not yet born. You have to be happy only now. Correct? The moment you're happy, you have to go to that state of Sat Anand. You know, there's a beautiful song I wrote. Let me close with this song. I wrote it a few days back. It's a very famous, it's a 60-year-old tune. It says, "Shanti se mila क्या हसी आनंद सत्य के चित में मिला सच्चिदानंद शांति से मिला क्या हसी आनंद. This song is about शांति से मिला क्या हसी आनंद सत्य के चित्त में मिला सच्चिदानंद. So you have to try and reach that state of ananda. My dear friends, remember, this world is full of unhappiness, full of misery, but we don't have to be miserable. So we have reached the end of the call. Look forward to another interesting call. I thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you.